Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've not been here for just over a week, but I thought, as you can tell by the title, I thought I would talk about my Ben Mitchell. Well, make my Ben Mitchell video. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm a bit cuckoo. Right, so this was requested by someone in the first couple of weeks. I'm sorry I don't know your name. I'm really, really sorry. I think it's something like Nathan. I'm not sure. Sorry if I've got that wrong. But this was requested. And now we're going to do this anyway because Ben Mitchell is one of my favourite popular EastEnders character. Even though he's been played by 3 different actors over the good few years that he was born. I mean, he was played by 2 babies when he was born, but I'm not going to talk about those 2 babies. That's irrelevant. But he were born in 1996 to Kathy and Phil, and the only story that I'm going to mention when he were a baby is the fact that he had meningitis. Not when he was straight away born, but when maybe after a good few months he contracted meningitis. So and then the last time we saw toddler Ben was in 1998 when Kathy said goodbye to Phil and she went on a plane. We never saw Ben again after 1998 until they killed Kathy off screen. Well, supposedly. This was then, she's alive now, but that's irrelevant. But she would, we found out she was dead then. Obviously, we know now she faked her own death with Gavin. But that's when we found out Ben Mitchell was making a comeback after Phil had been estranged from him for years. He hadn't seen his son since 1998. And in 2006 they casted a young child actor called Charlie Jones, who was actually not deaf in real life, because obviously because of the meningitis it made him partially deaf in one ear. So Charlie Jones was cast, and then they brought him in, and then obviously everything was going fine. He obviously called Gavin Dad for a bit, but obviously we knew it would Phil. But I liked the scene where the first Charlie Jones scene I remember as in playing Ben was him and Phil and Ian went out for the day bowling, I think it were, or a games place, and Phil and Ben was playing a game, a driving game, and Ben said to Phil, "Thanks Dad for coming." And that was the first time we saw him call Phil Dad, and it melted me because I'm thinking, oh, do you know what I mean? So that was one. And then Evil Stella. No way, Evil Stella was so evil. She came in, wrecked everything. She tortured Ben for months and months and months, and then it all came out on the wedding day. And obviously she said, "Your dad's not your dad." She burnt him with a spoon. I mean, who'd do that to a little kid? Do you know what I mean? And I absolutely hated Stella, and I wanted Phil to know what was going on, but obviously he didn't. Oh, it annoyed me that. But she got a comeuppance, and Ben confessed on her wedding day to Phil. So that's that. And Ben opened up to his dad about it, and then Stella dropped down from the cliff after Phil confronted her and died. So that was the end of her. Brilliant. So he made a friend in Abby as well. Obviously they're going out now, but I'll come to Harry Reid's one in a bit. But he was only in it then for another 3 years, and when his sister Louise came into it, I think it was 2010, she experienced what Stella did to him, because Ben burnt Louise with a spoon. Obviously, she was played by Brittany Papelbon. As you can go and check my the Return of Louise Mitchell one out. It'll be on the website somewhere. Well, on my channel somewhere. Sorry, not on the website. What am I doing? Cuckoo. Right. So he obviously he was jealous, because obviously girls are daddy's girls. But she didn't stay long. She had to be taken into care, and she eventually was brought back to her mum, Lisa, played by Lucy Benjamin. So, sorry this might be a long video, but I've got loads of information. Then obviously when, in a few years' time, that year actually, he got bullied by Jordan Johnson, Lucas's son, flipped and attacked him, and then Jordan went in hospital and Ben had to go to court, and that was the turning point of Ben being recasted. So Ben's sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in a young offenders institution. Then 5 months later, well, let's put it that way, the last thing Charlie Jones did was telling Phil that I don't come here again, and we heard no more. Then at 5 months, a couple of weeks before Christmas, a new Ben arrives, played by Joshua Pascoe, and his Ben took an evil turn. You know, he weren't dancing anymore, he weren't a sweet little boy anymore. He'd manned up a bit. Then him and Jay were like that for a bit on a rocky patch, but they soon became best friends, and obviously they see themselves as brothers now. So he comes back, and Jay is being adopted by Phil, and obviously Ben's not happy about that. That's what kicks it off. So he says to Jay, "You'll be out soon." And he says, "Oh, because you're going to make me, are you?" "I'll find a way," he said. So, you know, but they soon became best friends. Then Ben were a bit quiet for the next few months, and he had to have a 5-month break or something from the show, because the producer at the time thought the character of Ben now weren't being properly portrayed, because they found it difficult to get used to the new Ben. So yeah, it's very complicated. So he came back in September, and then another big story hit him where he is gay. So he tells Phil he's gay, and then he has a one-night stand with Lola Pierce. She has a baby, and then obviously a year later, when he's left, she reveals to Phil that Benny's Lex's dad, so he's a dad. Right, I'm not going to go too much into detail now. I'm just going to, because I don't want the video to be too long. So, the year after, this is Joshua Pascoe's exit from Ben. He killed Heather Trott in a fury with a photo frame saying best friend. So he whacked her because he thought that she shopped him into the police, when actually it was Ian, because he'd lied to the police about Phil murdering Stella when he didn't. So that's the end of that storyline. And then obviously Shirley found out, and he got sentenced to 4 years, and the last scene we see of him and Phil is obviously in prison again, and not to contact him until I get out. So that's 2 Bens talked about. The next Ben is the one that we see now. I think he's the best Ben we've got. 1, he's not ugly. 2, he's a bloody good actor. Sorry about my language, but he is. And 3, he just has that charisma about him. He just does. He's got this gorgeous look about him. I know it might sound cliche to you, but from my point of view, I think he's the best Ben that we've had. So Ben comes back. Obviously Phil tracks Richie down saying, "Where's Ben? I want to see my son." And Richie informs him that Ben was released over a month ago, and that was the time that Lucy died. So he was in the frame for Lucy's murder. Because on the night of Lucy's murder, him and Jay went to see Lucy, nicked purse, nicked mobile, and started burying it. Buried it in the allotment, in Patrick's allotment. So obviously that's going to be dodgy anyway. And then he comes back September. "Hi Dad. Here we go again." And I think he is still gay, and I can't understand why him and Abby are having a relationship now. Okay, so I think that's all I've got to say about Ben, really, because I can't really talk about Harry Reid because he's the current Ben. If he were a past character, maybe I would have dealt more into him as well. But let me just think. Well, if I've forgotten anything, comment below what storyline I've forgotten. Because I know it's all about now he's gay. Oh yeah, he got accused of Lucy's murder. So he was put in prison for a couple of nights. You know, he had a chase around the square because Jay told him to run. Okay, so that was back in July, and he burst into tears, and Richie says, "You better release him now because you've got no proof." So I think that was the... And obviously Phil's drinking now and he needs a transplant. So I think I've covered everything there. Okay, leave a comment which Ben you liked best. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do next. It might not even be a character profile yet. But there is character profiles coming in as we speak. So thank you for your patience, everybody. And I will see you on my next video. Bye guys.